Hey, what's going on? It's me, John D. Villarreal, the super genius and the former host of GameSpot TV and the four-time national champion. So much to talk about here. I remember I did my show. I've been working a lot. There's a lot of things going on, and somewhere I'm on East Coast time right now. I'm in the greater Tampa Bay, Sarasota, St. Petersburg area. And sometime around, I'm joined by my brother Paul at Villarreal here via phone for a lot of reasons, and he was a gamer too. He definitely sort of went through this whole experience of me being on the show and everything, and also met Adam at the Game Developers Conference in San Francisco. So there's a lot that we're going to talk about here, and you called me, Paul, sometime around like, I don't know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. my time, 2:30 a.m. my time, and this thing, and you kind of laid it out for me. Now I have to say there's a bunch of things I want to say here immediately as in the front as disclaimers. First of all, please check all the disclaimers. My live show is sponsored by Melon App. Please check that in the video description on YouTube. I am live to YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn at the same time. This is a story that I've told before. So it's very, just small parts of it. And, we're going to lay some stuff out here. I'm not going to go into everything extensively. I will say everything we both say is all of our personal opinion only. We're not alleging any facts. We're not casting any aspersions, all for entertainment purposes only. Please check all the disclaimers. I was one of the original hosts of GameSpot TV with Adam and Lauren at the Sega building in San Francisco. And I was put on the show by Miguel Gonzaga. I'll get to that story here in a bit. Paul will kind of frame up some of the stuff here. I have to say that I'm a little bit stunned by the current state of events, I guess, in the news. I don't know that I'm surprised. I have different reactions to it. I've obviously worked with Adam. I've been up close and personal. It's amazing to me in some ways that it has taken so long for all this to get, for some of these things. I don't know. I don't know exactly what I want to say, so I want to be careful what I say. But I will say that in my opinion, of the original host, I was the super gamer. I was the world-class gamer, in my opinion. I was the person who played games from Pong on. And I had the triple or even quadruple threat that they had to put in the show. We'll get into that and stuff, but I want to frame it up right. Listen, I work with Adam. I have nothing against Adam. We had a great meeting last time we talked. I don't know, who knows, what he says about me behind my back. I do think it's extremely odd that all the historians of GameSpot and XPlay and stuff. Well, I was never on officially XPlay. I was on GameSpot, right? You can't find my name on Wiki. If you Google it, you used to be able to see some stuff out there. You don't see that anymore. It's very bizarre. The first show, you could see like kind of me in the background in the ring, and I'll get to all of this. I've got the tapes. They're right over there. I've got the tapes of me on the show. I've got paychecks, okay? I've got pay stubs, rather, in my opinion. I have the proof. I've got as they say, the receipts, if you will, and all of that. We'll get into that. But it's very bizarre that I was never, at a certain point, it was kind of like I was, in the land of the internet. It was almost like, I don't know, I'm not alleging anything, but I'm not going to characterize it, but you just couldn't find me, right? And Elon Musk and others have had things to say about Wikipedia and stuff, but I want to put a pause on that. Paul, carefully, if you will, let's frame this up. I don't want to get into the back and forth of what's been going on Adam Sessler's Twitter. I'll put a link in the video description on YouTube. People can check that out on their own. We're not here to get into that and get personal, but we can definitely add more context here. So I'm going to lay out that story. And also, if people want, while I'm live, and maybe some afterwards on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook, we can do sort of an Ask Me Anything. But of the hosts, I felt like in a way, it was kind of cool. We all had very different perspectives. Walking into the show, I'll talk about that. But let's frame up what we're talking about right now, Paul. You called me up and set the stage, if you will, about what's going on. And I looked at Adam's Twitter. It seems like it's somewhat ongoing right now. I mean, there's some discussion with this YouTuber, I think, and I apologize. I just don't follow everyone and everything. I'm busy working and RGT85. There's some different discussions there. You can see, and the handle that as of right now, I believe is, and this is my opinion, right? I'm not alleging anything. Is on Twitter is Adam, quote unquote, so not a gamer, unquote, Sessler, verified, etc. Hundreds of thousands of followers, and Paul, you let's talk about that. You called me up, like what's going on? What's the general high level here?
Yeah. So last night, I don't remember why I went to YouTube to go to a channel that I go to that usually does movie reviews. They usually do movie reviews. I mean, I can say the channel or not; it doesn't really matter. But so I went to their channel, looked at their latest videos. They usually do, I don't know, a couple videos a day, and they had a video about Adam Sessler. And I'm like, it's like, Adam Sessler, whatever, goes, says whatever on Twitter. I'm like, whoa, what is this? I haven't thought about Adam Sessler in years.
Right.
And so I looked at it really quickly, and I called you up, and I'm like, well, you gotta see this. This is your old, your old co-worker, co-host, Adam Sessler. And so we kind of went through it and looked at it and everything. And from what I understood, it was, again, I haven't read everything, but it seemed to be Adam disavowing the gaming community or himself being a gamer or whatever, And, yeah, I mean, going back to you and being on GameSpot, years and years ago, the way I always viewed it was, I can't remember the the co-host, the woman, Lauren, I think it was.
Lauren, yeah. If you allow me, I think your commentary actually here is going to be very valuable. If you allow me here, let me set the stage, because I think it'll make way more sense to everybody. And I think fill in some blanks here in terms of what this discussion is, because I think based upon like me not being in Wikipedia and other people not talking about it and my clips not being up, there's plenty of clips of me. Let me tell you, there's plenty of clips of me and some really great clips. I think it'll, in light of some of these recent discussions, I think it'll make more sense. I'm going to try to rip through this very, very quickly. So I have, and Paul can back me up here, once I lay it out. I've been a lifelong gamer. I told you that. I mean, I remember we had the Atari 2600, 400, 800, Apple Lisa, Mac, all these things, Amiga. I had all these things. Coleco, Intellivision. I mean, we had them all, right?
We had everything.
Yeah, Coleco, the little football thing, whatever. We're playing Pong, track and field, Asteroids, Tempest. I mean, all of it. And I was a world-class gamer. Now I will characterize myself. I wouldn't consider I think that's the best way to put it. I wouldn't consider myself a pro gamer. A pro gamer is someone that like totally focuses on one game. They're going to be the best at that one game. They're compete on that game and stuff. I'm someone that could be top, I think on Need for Speed, I think I had some, different records. I think Burnout, Paradise Cities. I had different things. I mean, I could pick up. I mean, the receipts are up there. I have it. I have stuff that I put up there, and there's plenty more where I didn't. I mean, I've had things where you've been around me, Paul. I am insane at video. I can pick up almost any video game and crush it, to a high level. Now, there's certain games and genres I don't play, but there's strategy games. There's just games that I'm just insanely good at. Would you not agree with that?
Yeah, I think, like you said, like you could be really good at any game, but there are particular games where you're like world class level.
Right.
And like games that you're interested in.
Right.
Or, yeah, you're world class level.
Right.
I think that's the best way to characterize it.
That's the best way to characterize it, right? As opposed to, like, I've been in a room. I was hosting an event where Fatality was there and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna play Fatality in a PvP. I'm not gonna play Dr. Disrespect in a PvP. I mean, I'm not. That's not because some of those people, like, they're just like specialists, whereas I am a super good generalist that has that world-class specialist skill, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? And so like you to put it another way, like, I could go, if there's Olympics of gaming, I could make the team on almost every sport, other than games that I just don't play. Right? I mean,
if you were in the Olympics of gaming, you'd be a decathlete.
Yes.
Rather than like a sprinter.
Right. I'm not going to be a Carl Lewis. I'm not going to be a Usain Bolt in one sport, right? But I'm going to be a decathlete. I mean, I'm not a decathlete. I might be able to do the Winter Olympics and the Summer Olympics and half of the games there, right? And be able to make the team on all of them and be able to medal in a bunch of them, right? And that's kind of probably the way it's, but that's different than saying I'm Usain. Anyway, I don't want to get too hung up on that. The point is I've played thousands and thousands and thousands of games. At one point, I think I estimated it could have been even 10,000. I'm not making that claim, but I mean, I played so many games. We used to go to the arcades. We used to spend our days there, our Saturdays there. I used to, Dad used to drop us off. We'd go after working out the YMCA. I mean, this was a lifelong deal, dude. Red Baron, Tank Hunter. What was the other one? Mech Warrior, Track and Field, Miss Pac-Man. I mean, you could go on and on and on and on. Forgotten Worlds, what a great game that was. Forgotten Worlds, what an amazing, amazing game. There's so many different games. I can just sit here and boom, 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 and rip them off, dude. I mean, Capcom, Future Fight, Dragon's Lair, Space Ace. There was a simulator. Oh man, I mean, Red Baron was really one of my favorite games. Might and Magic. I mean, dude. I mean, of course, Mortal Kombat. Right, Street Fighter. I mean, how many iterations of that? There's so many different games that we would play. A lot of the Capcom games were really good. Dig Dug. Defender. I mean, dude, just so many games. Of course, the Ultima series. Again, we talked about Might and Magic. I mean, the Star Wars series, the Neverwinter Nights. I mean, Baldur's Gate. There's just
Wing Commander. You were great.
Wing Commander. I mean, just crazy. Like, right. I mean, Mass Effect. I mean, I've been playing them for so long. I still play them now. Not nearly as much. I'm older now. But anyway, let me. So okay, I'm getting a little bit. In this context, you get the picture, right? And I mean, I've crushed these different games. I've been playing games. I'm deep into it. I've got a PS4 Pro now. I've got the Xbox One X. I wanted to upgrade it, but obviously, that we had the whole pandemic and everything like that, and it's just been doing different things. But at the same time, I had done Major Market Talk Radio. And I started in Salt Lake City, did San Francisco, Sacramento. I kind of reached a really high level in radio. I'd been told that I was a natural in by top talents like Jack Swanson and other former famously of KGO KSFO in San Francisco. I flipped over to cable access TV. I started working my way up on that. And that was in Walnut Creek, California. I had a live show. It was awesome. Pretty soon I was on different cable access shows. I was on broadcast, TV. This thing was really growing. I got noticed by Jim Swanson of KRON when they were an NBC affiliate. I went to go, I want to say, I may get this a little bit wrong. New Media News with Suzanne Shaw and Jim Goldman and stuff down in San Jose in that bureau. at that time, and I was doing some kind of like, I was a former national champion powerlifter. I was going to law school at Berkeley. I did undergrad at Berkeley. So I was doing a lot of other things in my life, even though I'm a world-class gamer, right? I'm a super genius. I'm interested in different things. And Miguel Gonzaga, I had already cut a pilot, I believe, or they were very close to either right before, right after. One of my friends, Rick Marizani, who started as a tester, I think, at Maxis Studios, Sim City, and everything like that, worked his way up to a producer, got bought by EA, then worked for EA, then worked for PopCap Games, worked for Digital Chocolate, Trip Hawkins. I mean, he was in the mix. I mean, this is a really good friend of mine that we went to high school together in Alhambra, Martinez, California. And then so now Miguel Gonzaga, so Ricky and I did a sort of pilot program of a game review thing. I was already zoning in that, and I already had the chops with radio and obviously TV to do video game review stuff because there wasn't really a lot out there at that time. I think somewhere around that time, Tommy Tallarico was doing some of his stuff. So anyway, Miguel sees me. I did a good job with it. I think I reviewed some exercise DVD or something like that. They liked what I did there. I did a good job with that. And I just got to talking to Miguel, and he was blown away because I was going to work for, I believe at that time or close to it. I don't know exactly, like, I'm about to graduate, and then I was later going to work for Wilson Sonsini, Gilbert, and Rosati. So here you got a world-class gamer with deep gaming history, with contacts in the gaming business, serious contacts, who also was about to go into Silicon Valley and do gaming deals, and was very, very smart. I mean, you can't find anyone else. I've had people, when I used to have my own website and stuff, I had quotes from people in the gaming industry. I was a triple threat, right? World-class gamer, top gaming, personality, gaming broadcaster that's at the time. I'm not saying now. Definitely not saying now. I'm saying at that time. And actually was doing gaming deals, like consulting with gaming companies, looking to help them do major strategic, things, and et cetera, working with their boards and executives, et cetera, and was respected. I even did due diligence for a major VC in the gaming for the gaming space in Sand Hill Road. I have somewhere around here a videotape with me and a video somewhere with me and one of my clients at GDC sitting down with Scott Rainey from Red Point Ventures. I mean, so you juxtapose that. And Scott's great. It was super. I really respect Scott and respect Red Point Ventures. You juxtapose that with Adam Sessler and what's been said now, right? And I don't want to get too much into any of that, right? I don't want to get into the milieu here, the back and forth, or take a side. I'm just setting the context. And so Miguel saw me, and he's like, I got to get you on the show. Because we were going back and forth. And you knew immediately that he was a gamer, I was a gamer. You just saw that synergy and stuff. And so here's someone that was about to go and take a major job in Silicon Valley, graduating from a top law school in the world, and at the same time, has major broadcast chops and major connections and et cetera, but I still was the best talent that they, in my opinion, that they could find, and had that it factor too, that charisma and everything, or whatever you want to call it, that energy that translates on screen. And so they already had the thing going, the show set. It was supposed to be Adam and Lauren, and they basically dropped me in there and they weren't sure exactly like how we're gonna make it. So they stuck me in this ring, and I think I talked about this before. The setup was kind of weird. It was like they made me sort of a play-by-play person, but they also would use me for the serious interviews. Nolan Bushnell, right? I interviewed him. Gabe Newell interviewed him, right? When they had the big charity event with the 49ers and the athletes, I used to train a bunch of pro athletes, and that's known, right? And we talked about that. Big, 49ers, and I believe, I can't remember. No. That's Oakland Raiders and definitely a lot of the Oakland Athletics and stuff like that. I knew the strength coach for the 49ers and went to their training camp. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not making claims here. It's been I've got to reference that stuff. But I mean, so I was very, very legit in that space. Although I worked out with it at the gym, not like I trained or anything. JJ Stokes later. Right, and he actually, when I had one of my other companies, he came to one of my grand opening events, and really, really cool dude, right? And so I had really good relationships with a lot of the if not even acquaintance friendships, whatever you want to call it, with various athletes, because I was so you put a world class athlete with a world class gamer with broadcast skills, with Berkeley, Berkeley behind them, and Berkeley Law, and going to Wilson Sonsini. I was working at Wilson Sonsini Rosati at the time. I remember going to Mario Rosati's house. I won't say where, in Silicon Valley, and when he invited the new the new associates, not summer associates, there to talk about stuff. And I went, hey, Mario, I've got this great opportunity, whatever. And Mario is a Berkeley grad too, and as is Larry Sonsini. And can I do this show? It's like it tapes on Fridays once a week. It's like, hey, and he was super cool. Mario's I really appreciate everything he's done for me. Just has been fantastic and a mentor to me, and just an amazing person. And so I definitely appreciate Mario. And he's like, hey, if you build the hours, put in your hours, it doesn't matter, it's all good. And so he gave me flexibility and stuff. And I definitely worked a lot of hours, but it was amazing. So in that context, if you're Adam Sessler, knowing what you know now, and you see someone like John Villarreal, that's an interesting combination. So and I'm going to turn over to Paul here in a second. I really want his comments on this. And I know I talk a lot, but I have to set up. If I didn't do this video, when would you ever hear this? Right? This is what happened, in my opinion. Right? This is from my perspective. I'm not saying I have the only perspective, but from my perspective, this is what happened. This is how it really went down when the show was starting. And I remember going in this building in the Sega studio downtown in San Francisco. Well, kind of not like near the Sony Metron, sort of in that mix. And they had all the sets and the different outfits and stuff, and they picked our clothes. And my understanding was there was executives from MTV. So think about that, right? This is a corporate show. Executives from MTV, or at least one former executive from MTV that was coming over there. We had all the clothes that were there for the set. There was a bunch of people on the set. We shot once a week on a Friday. It was like a Friday morning and stuff. And I think that there was a certain decent budget for the show. Miguel was the executive producer. He was in the booth. There was other producers. You got mic'd up, and they told you where to stand, and they were, you read the teleprompter and different cameras. And I wasn't the best teleprompter reader, I'll tell you that right now. But I can, as you know, I can just go at any time, and my energy will just blow you away. And the knowledge and the gaming, I had real passion for it. I saw Adam, and I'll get into that in a second, but I want Paul's thoughts here, and then Lauren. So Adam was basically someone, from what I understood, that was kind of like, maybe in my opinion, I'm a little light on the gaming, had done like cable access in San Francisco, was kind of that hipster, really reminded me, or at least had the affectation of the dude from Third Rock from the Sun back in the day. And I think I didn't pull that out of somewhere. I think like that was even a discussion point. And so I don't know. I'm not alleging anything. This is all my opinion. I'm just trying to paint the picture. And it was almost like this is corporate MTV's idea of what a gamer should be or look like in San Francisco. It was almost like it was central casting type of deal, sort of, right? Whereas I'm like the real deal. I'm the living, breathing embodiment of it, right? I'm as real as you get. And then Lauren was the journalist. She was a writer for GameSpot TV. And I had a lot of respect for Lauren, and she and I were cool as far as I know. But I didn't hang out with Lauren. I didn't hang out with Adam. Everyone was friendly on set. I felt like Adam and Lauren were maybe a little like maybe I don't know, like they kind of, well, it was kind of like those two, and then there was me. Again, I don't want to characterize it. I'm not in any. I didn't spend time with anyone else. But a part of it was I had to do the show and I had to get back to work in Palo Alto. I'd hit 280 and I'd go to work. I was working all the time, right? I was in a different zone completely different zone. Those two, I think, lived in San Francisco. I'm living down there, like in that. First was where was I? Like San Mateo, like right by 280, and then later, Mountain View, Palo Alto area, and I was just working all the time, right? And so that's the setup, right? So Lauren was the writer for GameSpot. I don't know that she was a TV person at that time. I'm someone with the media. I had all this other background. Adam to me struck me as someone that was trying to make it. We had conversations, in my opinion. I'm not to Hollywood. This was potentially a jump off point. Like do this and do that, and for me, it's like I knew that media is very volatile. And listen, kudos to Adam, dude. I mean, he did it for 14 years. I remember going to E3 and seeing a big banner with Adam's face on it, right, in the Staples Center. So kudos to him, right? I mean, but enough of that. I mean, Paul, you were there. You were in Silicon Valley for a while. You went to GDC with me. I think you went to E3 at sometimes. Definitely went to GDC. We talked about it contemporaneously. You've seen the shows. I mean, I think I'm very interested in your perspective on this.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I looked at it was, you were the game guy. Adam was kind of like host, and as you said, Lauren was like journalist. And that's just the way I looked at it. Like they would have segments with like you and Adam like playing games like at an arcade, and in my opinion, you clearly knew more about the gaming stuff than he did. That's okay. I mean, I don't have any problem with Adam. I think I met Adam at GDC, and he was cool. So if for what's going on now, apparently, with him supposedly saying he's not really a gamer or whatever it is that he's saying.
I don't understand that.
It doesn't shock me because I never really saw him like that. I don't even know if he saw himself as that. But, it was different for you because you were the game guy. And I thought that's a lot of why they had you on the show.
Right.
Because you understood the games.
Yeah, and I'll just say a couple of things and I'll turn it back over to you. To me, like, I'm surprised at how this is playing out. I agree that it doesn't shock me. I had a conversation. I mean, this is over 20 years ago, right? I mean, this was 1998, right? I mean, so... Yeah. I'm not alleging anything, I'm not catching any Spurs. This is all my personal opinion and my recollection, paraphrase. But we would have conversations where, like, do this and go to Hollywood or do this. I mean, to me, maybe the better way I don't know that people should be necessarily upset if Adam is. I don't know if this is. I'm not alleging anything. I don't know how to take this. Is this like trying to get heat? Is this a work? Is this real? Is this for? I don't know. Right? I haven't talked to Adam in about 20 years. So I have no idea, right? I mean, I occasionally I'd see a clip here or there, or whatever, about like, I think he got married. I think he got married to a lawyer or something. I think he went to San Francisco then LA. I don't know if he's back in San Francisco. I don't really know, right? And I've moved around a lot. I mean, we're in Florida now, so I was in Texas for a while too. But I was out there when we went to GDC, he was still doing the GameSpot thing, and I was. Look, I was representing some game companies. I was, talking to other game companies. Like I think that may have been the year that I met with one of my clients with Scott Rainey, and like we were doing we were doing different things. Like and Adam, like I remember, I think he said something to me like, hey, let's I don't know. This is my super rough recollection. I'm not alleging anything. Like, hey, let's keep in touch. Like I want to do other things other than gaming and stuff. And because he saw that I was doing stuff, and that was probably about the time I was rocking the M5 and I was crushing it and everything like that. I mean, do you kind of, you were there. I mean, and I have that picture up on my LinkedIn. I'll put a link to that. I have a picture of Adam and I with my little fancy, I was a big dude too, right? I mean, at that time I was still pretty beefy. I think I was still competing very much. And so like, I'm dwarfing Adam there. I mean, relatively, I'm not like the biggest guy in the world, but, and I think you were there too, right, Paul?
I was there. I was GDC like 2008, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I remember it. And like I said, that's where I met Adam. I never met Adam anywhere else. And that's where I met him, and he seemed cool. He definitely seemed interested in keeping in touch with you That was like my perspective on it, where it's come from.
That makes sense,
And
because that was right around when I did buy that car, right? That when I had the blue M5, I had stopped competing, but I was still like, definitely still. I think my last competition in 2006, and I think he kind of sensed that like maybe things that were gonna change. I mean, again, he had a great, yeah, things could change, right? And so. And he saw we were going to the parties, and that was before I was married, and anyway.
Well, I was just going to say, I think things were changing for like GD, for his network and all that. Like stuff was starting to change in the TV business, and I think it was starting to get tougher.
Right, and I was, things were going pretty decently for me and stuff. Right,
100%.
And so, to me, that was just about right before we broke out into YouTube. I think we launched on 2009, right? And so, and the channel just took off, right? I mean, I was Dr. Disrespect before there was Dr. Disrespect. And I have mad respect for Dr. Disrespect, and he's been far more successful than me. But I was doing that. I remember, getting into discussions and disagreements with you, Paul, because you thought like I have this ultra serious resume, and my mom, my brother, they could not understand what I was doing on YouTube, and oh, this isn't serious, and people are going to this and that, and you're loving, and you're throwing away your career, and I'm not going to overplay it, but you did not understand that I was working the medium and working characters. I've always been myself, but sometimes I will hit a character. And in fact, that was right around the time where, in my opinion, I had a whole series on this where I was crushing Battlefield Bad Company. People remember me that have been here. I was doing things. I knew people from some of the big game companies. And I want to say Rockstar. I think that's right. It's late at night here. I had a long day at work, but I had a serious theory. I can't prove it. I had speculation that maybe I was, that I was somewhat of an inspiration for the character Brucey from GTA 4. And I had a long series on that, and I think I had very good rationale. Now, there's a lot of people that claim that, but I knew those people. I was going to those events, and those stats were very similar. The Brucey stats were very similar to me. Look at the look. Look at my look, and that was right. So go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, look, I agree with all of it. I think that's all true. You were definitely in the mix. We were in the mix. We were getting traction. We were doing well, and I think, as you said, just my understanding with Adam, again, as we talked about earlier, not knowing him that well, but I think for some people, the games are the thing. And for other people, the games are kind of like a means to an end. And maybe that's more what it was.
And that's what I want to say real quick, and I get you back. I don't know where the there is on this. And I'm not here to sit here and arbitrate that. I'll answer any questions. I'm giving you my experience and my interactions with Adam. Also, let me remind you that Adam, we were all doing GameSpot TV, but I was also doing a lot of shows on Silicon Spin, the Sirius show, right? Yeah. With John Dvorak. Yeah. John Dvorak is asking me to be a guest host for him because in my opinion, he loved how good I was with that stuff. You should see some clips of that. I was destroying. I was great with Rebecca Eisenberg and Adam Lashinsky and stuff. But then they said that the corporate stuff is like, hey, we can't have you hosting two shows and it's going to be confusing. And like, what? I mean, why? But why? You can't be mad at me. Why? If you're mad, I'm not defending anything that he's saying. I'm not here to defend him. I'm here to punk him out. I'm slightly here to some degree to say, hey, I told you so. Number one, to on a lot of fronts, not about him specifically, but just about me and the gaming stuff, whatever. And number two is, why am I not on Wikipedia or wherever, or up on or YouTube? Where are my clips? Because if you want to talk about the first season of GameSpot TV, I'm that host with Adam and Lauren. You have the first show. I've got it. And I'm going to get it. If it's still good, I will transfer it to digital. The first show, they open up and it's Adam, Lauren, and me. And I'm in the ring. And when you see that first show with Adam, you see me right back there. I'm in the ring. Okay? So anyone that wants to be a historian and stuff like that, where is that? Why am I excluded from that history? Or potentially, I'm not saying, I don't want to make it like it's intentional, but it's strange that you can't, it's strange. You used to see it. If it's not like it wasn't out there, you used to see it when they talked about tech TV and different things. You used to have some clips out there, but it's just super strange. But maybe, some of the comments that Adam has made and some of the things of the last several years and all this woke stuff and whatever, all the politics. Adam's talking about a lot of politics, and people that know me know that I have done political stuff. And, it sounds like Adam and I, there's maybe some a different approach, a different way of thinking in politics. But I would say this in absolute defense of Adam. I'm not defending anything he's saying, but just in defense of the position. There's a lot of people in TV that, you don't have to be a Major League Baseball player to cover baseball and call baseball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, are you going to be mad at Wink Martindale or Richard Dawson because they didn't play Family Feud or Card Sharks or whatever it is for life or something like that? No, they're the host of the show. So, I mean, if you want to be an actor and if your thing is theater or whatever it is, or your drama, acting, whatever, hosting, fill in the blank, then yeah, this is just another show on the way to whatever. And in fact, like there was someone that I can't remember who said it, like someone got like known for this certain part and they play this part and they were frustrated by it, but it was their thing. I mean, heck, what's his name talks about that, the famous comedian that died recently, Bob Saget, about Full House and stuff. And so, but look, I mean, when someone said that, there's a joke about that. I can't remember. I apologize. Like, oh yeah, you get mad that you're typecast. Yeah. I'd love to be typecast as a rich guy, right, or a rich person, right? Right. I mean, yeah. I mean, so Adam basically became, he really, to his credit, the face of X-Play and GameSpot TV. I mean, I had the shortest run there of the original three, then Lauren, and then Adam just, was many multiples of us on that show. But I always felt like it wasn't the right fit. Or I don't know if that's fair, but I mean, let me put it another way. Like, and I don't want to get too specific into things. Of course, I'm biased. I absolutely believe I would have been the best host of that show. If you have one host, I absolutely believe I'm the best host of that show because of my knowledge and because of my broadcast ability. But here's the problem with that. First of all, it was a once a week show, which I could have done that, whatever. But let's say that show was every day. I couldn't do it every day. I couldn't do it every day because it didn't pay enough. I was making way more money being a lawyer and being a consultant and being a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley, right? Adam was, and to some extent, Lauren were trying to live the dream. I think Lauren was still doing writing stuff and I think she was a writer first at that time, right? I mean, but Adam, like I think he was all, I don't know, I'm not alleging anything, but my impression, maybe wrongly, was he was all in on this. And you got to say that, look, it worked out in one respect. But when right after we saw Adam in 2008, like YouTube was about to take off, and the channel just started growing. I was doing full-time YouTube and crushing it. And the only thing I regret is not doing more games and leaning harder into it and hitting the characters more, like Dr. Disrespect or Penguins or not to say I do that style or Ninja or someone like that, and just going full blast. I mean, you look at some of the stuff I did with Battlefield Bad Company. I mean, I was just crushing people on Battlefield Bad Company or some of these things. And I could have rolled with it, but maybe I was a little ahead of the game, ahead of the time. Like it wasn't quite, that super hot. But also there's been these, and now again, there's been these periods where it's been tough to be a gamer. There's been issues, challenges, if you will, with being a gamer on YouTube. And that's part of why, Twitch rolled on. I never jumped on Twitch. Maybe I should have jumped on Twitch, right? And it's just very. But when the whole TV thing, when the relaunch of G4 came, I just never thought that was going to work. I had no interest in it whatsoever because that ship had long sailed. It was over. It really was over. Like, I mean, the writing was on the wall. Like when we were doing stuff 2009, 2010.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it just was Twitch. I mean, it was just a different thing. You didn't need that level. And when, especially when, PewDiePie and that first wave of super gamers and like, I remember when iJustine, like everybody was trying to jump on games. And I remember when I talked to I gotta be careful here. I gotta be careful here. I'm gonna try to YouTube. I love you. I'm gonna try to handle this very carefully. I think I have just insane credentials in the gaming space, and I remember when YouTube was like I was going to E3 and GDC, and this is before really people were really doing that. And I remember I met someone I won't say who, what, where. I will say this is the Game Developers Conference. I met an executive at from Google. Said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to put you in touch with some gaming people at YouTube." And this is back when you couldn't even talk to YouTube. There's no phone number. It's like we're creators out there. We're trying to do the best we can. I was part of that original partner program. You had to apply. It was a big deal. I think it was only 10, 20,000 of us. I wasn't with that first wave. I was in that second wave. And this is back where Sank and Ray William Johnson and all this type of stuff. So we kind of was that second, maybe third wave, whatever. It was still early days. And so they put me in touch with someone on YouTube, and it was just like crickets. It's like, what? Like I had to warm it up. Like I have super credentials and I want to do some stuff on how we can open up gaming and do some more things and et cetera, et cetera. And then it was like, then at E3 they had, hey, here's iJustine, here's all these people. So here's all these non-gamers at that time. And maybe I'm wrong. Actually, sorry. Let me revise things. I'm wrong. I'm not claiming anything factually. I have nothing against iJustine. She's from Pittsburgh, and that doesn't matter. But I mean, I'm famous from Pittsburgh. So all these people are way more successful than me on YouTube. There's no hate. There's nothing but love. There's nothing but respect. It's just perspective. Just perspective. Let me revise and extend how I'm going to say that. I didn't see anyone of that group that they sent as having anywhere near the gaming experience and credentials and talent, or even, that I did, right? And yet I couldn't. And so once again, the theme of this to me is two things. And Paul, I want your comments. One is anytime you have corporate media like the MTV, whatever, trying to tell the audience that this is what a gamer should look like, or this is our thing. And I don't think that's the best thing. I think you need authenticity. I think the gaming community in general, like if we know anything about the gaming community, it's like everybody plays games all over the world, right? There is no, typical gamer or whatever like that. Are you kidding me? I mean, so it's people respect the skill level. People respect the hustle. People respect the, again, freedom, love, opportunity for everybody. We're all for everybody and everything like that. But I mean, it's like, I get it. If you're running a show, you have to cast a show, but from a gaming, let the show cast itself. Like if I'm doing a show, a reality show on track athletes, whoever runs the fastest, you know what I'm saying? Like this was it was almost like a real world, a road rules version of a gaming show. Does that make sense? If you don't know those references, go check those out. Let me say one last thing, and I will turn it over to Paul. And so I think that's the massive mistake. Massive mistake. Number two, absolute cardinal number one rule of any media, broadcast media host, talk show host, anything, and I've done them all. I've done them all well. Print, TV, other than film, other than major film. I've done like little film projects, independent. Like I don't think that counts. I mean, I don't know, but I mean everything but film I've done at a high level, basically. Okay. And well, right? YouTube, digital, radio, TV, print, etc. Okay. Number one rule, respect the audience. Respect the audience. Whether you're a gamer or not, whether you ever were a gamer or not, Adam Sessler, gamers paid your bills for 14 plus years. you got to respect the audience, dude. Now, if it's a work, if it's a stick, if it's something as a way to get over, as a way to get heat, listen, everyone's got to run their career. Like I've done different things to like, my King's Heat show or something like that. I've done things where I ran heel to get heat, to do a great show or something like that. But I was always true to myself, and I always respected the audience. I always did it with a wink and a smile. You know what I'm saying, Paul?
Yeah.
That's the difference. And when I see this Twitter feed from Adam, it's like,
Right.
it seems a little different. Like I would never hit it like that. Do you know what I'm saying, Paul?
Yeah, and then again, this is where I think that the channel which did it, which is Yellow Flash 2, they'll cover stuff like that. There is seems to be a tendency right now in entertainment, whether it's gaming or movies or whatever it is, for like the producers, the creators, to diss the audience. It's like, well, hey, if you don't like what we're doing, it's you're the problem. Not that we're not making stuff that's good. It's you're the issue. And so that seemed to be a little bit of what Adam was doing, which is like, well, I like gamers. Gamers are not good people. Well, we're the ones paying your salary.
Well,
we did.
And you can definitely opine on this too. The other thing is I was doing sports talk radio, and around great athletes, and I was a great athlete. I mean, I've met, obviously, Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds, and go on down the list. And I remember when sports journalists just covered sports, and now it got to a point with some of these channels, some of these sports cable channels and sports writers, where it's almost everything but sports. It's almost like politics with a little bit of sports sprinkled in on it, and it's like it almost feels like and people said that too. And I remember we were talking to Jason Whitlock on one of the sports journalist blogs, and we know a lot of the I know people, on the communications side at Major League Baseball and stuff like that, and some great people that have helped us out, and we've had some good conversations with, and sports writers across the big and small across the country, and it's like there was almost a sense of it like they went into journalism, and Limbaugh used to talk about this, like, journalists say they want to change the world. It's like, no, that's not what the job is, right? And so, you get pretty soon, when you're covering high school football games or college, local college football games for 20 years, you want to branch out into other things. That's one of the reasons why I can do all kinds of formats. Like, I mean, one of the options that I have right now on the radio stuff, if I decide to go back to it, is, hey, you want to do the sports station or you want to do the news talk station? Well, I'd rather do the news talk station, because if you're really doing sports, then that's somewhat limiting. I mean, it's fun. You can do a lot of different. You have more freedom to some degree in terms of a character and some different elements you can bring to the show, but your subject matter is more limited. And I think a lot of people said, well, we want to talk about this other stuff, the important stuff. We want to feel like we're important too. And it just ruins sports journalism. Don't you think, Paul?
Yeah, totally. And like you said, I mean, that's the same thing with other forms of entertainment. People just want to be entertained. They don't want 500 other things when they, go to do something a lot of times.
Right. Like if I want to talk about, like if I'm playing video games, I want to play video games. I don't want to feel like I'm a terrible person for playing a video game. And again, I'm not talking about anything specific or anything, but there becomes these repeated, issues, whatever you want to call it, with the gaming. Way back when we were kids. I mean, I remember when it was like, they have this stuff in video games, or GTA, but way back when it was Postal, it was, and again, I'm not defending or alleging anything, but it just seems like every 3, 5, 7 years, there's this new conversation and there's this new thing. And I'm not, I am making no defense or no brief of anything, but I'm just telling you that people just want to be entertained, just like the movies. Like, are we going to change all the movies, all the TV shows? Maybe we should. I don't know. But it's one thing to say that. It's another thing to say that all these people are bad people because they're playing Miss Pac-Man or Spy Hunter or track and field. Okay. I mean, can I just play my game? Can I just watch the sports? Like, what are we doing? Like, if you want to talk politics, go do that. If you want to have, like, if you want to be on PBS, go do that. Like, whatever it is. But it's and that goes back to the original thing of it's the strangest thing where you have the most successful host, the face of GameSpot TV, X-Play, that was maybe, possibly, if depending on how you want to take these comments now, the worst fit of the host of that show. It's especially when you forget about me, totally take me out of it. You're not talking about John D. Villarreal right now. If you look at Ninja, you look at Dr. Disrespect. These are people, the two-time champ, right? These are people that can walk the walk and talk the talk. You've got, to use wrestling parlance, you have someone with a high work rate, a high athletic ability that is also great on the mic. You have someone like a CM Punk on the mic that can go in the ring and has the physique of a Brock Lesnar. Do you understand what I'm talking about? In that world, in this world right now, or Sniper Wolf, or there's so many others that I can name. And there's always more coming up, right? FaZe Clan. I mean, there's so many. In this type of world, where does that of gaming, commentary, journalism, whatever, where does Adam Sessler fit? The answer might be he might not so much anymore, right? The corporate, you can't put that corporate, there are some people that are only, and you see this all the time in news talk, Paul, you can speak to this, where like someone got a show some way, somehow on a national platform, and I won't name names because I'm not trying to do that, and some way, somehow they got a show and you got all the production, everything like that. There's not that many other shows to watch. And this is the person to watch at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 12 o'clock, whatever it is. And then they try to have their own YouTube channel, or then they try to have their own radio show, and it's a total failure. And what happens is if you don't have that push, and we see this in professional wrestling, if McMahon or WWE or AEW doesn't just shove this wrestler or this face or this personality down the audience's throat, like they don't want to watch them. And in other words, another way of saying when you're on your own is the audience with you. And what's so cool about the gaming community right now is you can find people on the up and coming people on Twitch. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them streaming. You can find them, streaming Melanap right now. And the talent will seek it out there, whether it's Minecraft, whether it's Roblox, whether it's whatever it is. Paul, don't you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, you don't need a middleman anymore. You just go right to the people.
So I don't think, and again, no diss on him. I don't think, an Adam Sessler type can be that successful on their own in this environment. Yeah. And I think that if it's a nostalgia throwback, and again, mad props and mad respect to him. He's the champ, dude. He 14 years. He's got the title. He's got the belt, dude, for X-Play, for GameSpot TV. He was there at the beginning with me and Lauren in the Sega building, and he rode the success, down there in LA and everything like that. But when the corporate powers that be can't force an Adam Sessler on you, and you have other alternatives like me, like Dr. Disrespect, Ninja, Penguins, et cetera, Sniper Wolf, you're gonna go that way, even if it's just more skill and entertainment, like a PewDiePie or someone like that, or just some up and comer, or just your buddies, or whatever. It's just a different deal now, dude. And it's really the same thing for the reviews too. People were gonna hit. I mean, I remember when GameSpot TV and IGN were like the end all be all, and they're still. I mean, I still, love those sites, or Metacritic, but I mean now, how many people just hit YouTube first to get a review from their favorite YouTuber or something like that, Paul? I mean, where do you sum up your thoughts, Paul? I mean, we're gonna wind down here pretty soon. Like, where do you think we're at with all this? What do you think this all means? I hope whatever's going on. I wish nothing but the best for Adam. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely like he's got this avatar here. He's got a look going and stuff. I'm not really going to comment on that. There's a lot of back and forth. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm just telling you right now. I mean, it's not like I don't have his number. I haven't talked to him in 20 years, and we're not best friends. We never hung out. I can't tell you, but just, when I remember when we went to GameWorks out in Vegas, we flew out there, and I remember we did a segment together, and we didn't do that many segments together. I just felt like, you just look at the tape, and I may put that up at some point. I don't know. I've got the VHS tapes. I don't know what transfers over. I don't know what has survived, what the quality is. I mean, and Paul, you can comment on it. I think I just blew him away. Like, just blew him away. Like, he just had like a couple lines that he was trying to get in there, whatever. And it's like the energy level, the knowledge. I mean, would you agree with that, Paul?
Yeah, and I mean, one, you just have more energetic presence. Two, you're a better gamer. I mean,
Yeah, and and again, I'm not trying to whatever. It's not about me, but what I'm saying is, I don't know if this is real, and I don't know if this is a work. It feels a little bit like a work. I'm just gonna tell you that. So people getting all revved up and this and that, whatever. But at the same time, I think Adam's a dude that wanted to make it really big. A lot of people do. I mean, you don't go into media, you don't try to do a national show to not make it big, right? I mean, and a lot of people that want to be in, I'm someone that, sure, if you gave me a national show, I'd take it, of course, right? And who doesn't want to be successful in their job? And it's kind of like, what's the next act? It's kind of over. I remember Adam was there was some show. Oh, what was it on? It was some channel. It wasn't Discovery. It was and Adam was on for a minute. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the next move is for Adam and stuff. And that's why I never put all my, investment or time or staked my career on media. I always did it on the side. I always did other stuff because it's really volatile, dude. You got to make it really big. And I was never going to do the circuit, go to Montana or South Dakota for 20 grand and work my way up on the anchor. That's forget it, dude. That's not, I've been really, really successful for being able to do it my way part-time. And I don't know. I mean, everyone has points where it's oh, I wish I would have done this or could have done that, or, zigged instead of zagged or whatnot. I don't know. I don't know if this is real, if he's having second thoughts. I don't know if he just, it seems like, I don't know. I'm not going to characterize anything. I don't know if now that he doesn't have a show, he can kind of tell the fans what he really thinks and tell them what it is. Or I don't know if there's been resentments built up, but if I had to guess, it's a pure guess. I'm not even going to I'm going to phrase it this way. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a work. And it's a way to get springboard to the next thing, to get over into the next thing. Kind of like how, in some ways, how Keith Olbermann went from sports to now he's a political commentator, right? Can you see that, Paul?
Yeah, it's possible. I think that could be the case. I mean, look, there might be some, because in some ways it's why do this now?
Yeah, why now? Right.
It's been over.
It's been over.
So, why would you do it now unless you're trying to springboard? So, I'm not really sure. Well, as you said, it doesn't make any sense because the run and the gaming stuff is done, and it's been done for a while. So, why would you go like this now?
And that's your legacy, dude. Right. I mean, dude, you know how much run I've got from GameSpot TV and how that's helped my career and my resume. And I was on for one season. Like, I mean, I don't even think it was a full season. I don't know. I mean, maybe I can't remember. I gotta look at all this stuff. But I banked a lot of shows and stuff like that. Adam was there the longest for 14 years. They had a banner up, but like I don't get, like, why are you burning this bridge with your fans? Like, I don't understand that. If I had 200, if I had look at how many followers this dude has. If I had, I don't know, dude. I'm not giving anyone advice, but if I had 205.3 thousand followers on Twitter, I think there's a way I can, whatever I want to do, there may be a way to parlay that. And, it's like, it's almost like if and maybe it's, I mean, if, oh man, Henry Winkler came out and said, I hate Happy Days or something like that. Like, I never was, or like what? Like, I mean, I understand you want to do different things and you've evolved and stuff like that, but like, it's just, what are you doing? I mean, it's just, I don't understand the move. I don't know. But I mean, I'm happy to answer any other questions. I'm sure I'll speak about this more. I didn't want to get too much into it. I wanted to provide some context. I hope that helps the discussion. If Adam wants to be on the show and talk about it, if he wants to reach out to me, I'm here. I mean, look, dude, I mean, I got respect for the dude. He did it. He succeeded. He was always cool to my face. The last time we met, it was cool. He and I were very different. Sounds like a bit different politics, different. And that's great. That's the world. That's awesome. Love to have a conversation with him. It'd be great to chop it up and talk about what's happening. I wish him all the best. I wish everybody out there all the best. I understand the fans having a strong reaction. No question. I get it. I'm a gamer. I'm a lifelong gamer. You know what I mean? So I fully understand that. But I had to say something. I didn't know what I was going to say. Hopefully this has been understandable. People know where I'm coming from. It makes sense. Paul, what are your final comments? Anything else you think you should say you want to comment on?
Yeah, I think that this was, it's a good examination. I totally didn't expect to see this information about him on the video on YouTube. And it's good for you to be able to kind of provide your background, your context to the situation and what you know about Adam and just your own experience working with him and working in the gaming space.
Yeah. And so it's interesting, look, games, huge business, gaming media, gaming's business, gaming's not perfect. Nothing is, right? But I mean, you think about all the fun. You think about opening up, waiting for that game release, opening up that game, in the holiday time, whatever, or maybe you're going through a tough time, or you're doing something, and you have to study. You're taking that break, and it just, I've been playing. I've been on the DL. I've been playing Marvel Strike Force, right, on my phone here and stuff. And I'm actually I'm cranking up. I'm on those top leaderboards and stuff. And so we may talk about that, but I've always got the skills. I mean, so yeah, I don't know. We're gonna see. Hey, listen, I'll love to hear your comments. That's all I have to say for now. We may have to talk about it more. I'm gonna try to get the videotapes over there. I may do some more gaming content. I just haven't. I've been super busy with so many different things, and but wish everybody the best. Wish the gamers the best, Adam the best, everyone from GameSpot TV and ZD TV and XPlay. Thank you, and Tech TV. Thank you for the opportunity. And actually, after I left the show, I still went back for another. They invited me to do a special thing at E3 where I was, hosting on live there. emceeing basically with Fatality and some different players, and we had like a Suzuki Hayabusa, I think, and a Predator. It was awesome, dude. I mean, look, games are supposed to be fun and some kind of escape from whatever, and something that we can all, like, the whole world. So it's can join in on it. So anyway, it's interesting, but in media and in life and in business, things always change. The only thing constant is change, and you have to continue to adapt and reinvent yourself and stuff. And so, anyway, That's the take from me, one of the original hosts of GameSpot TV, John D. Villarreal, and with assistance from Paul at Villarreal. What do you think? Love to hear from you. Give me the comments below. Please subscribe. Please rate this video up. If you like this video, please like it and subscribe, and also turn on the notification buttons. And again, I'm not alleging any facts, guessing aspersions, or alleging any facts. It's all for entertainment purpose only. Please check all the disclaimers. I'm John D. Villarreal. I appreciate you. You have a wonderful evening. I will see you next time.